This is my indie film review of the 2024 horror movie Retreat, written and directed by Christopher Newberry. And the film centres around two characters, a mother and son, Jane and Jamie, played by Denise Wilton and Harry Walters, respectively. The pair have got a pretty bleak home life following the death of Jamie's father 4 years previously. And this is seen in different ways between the characters. Jamie seems to be quite a recluse, seems to be staying home a lot. His mother is out being quite reckless. We see her in the pub at one point, just getting very, very drunk, and seems to be all over the place. She's also a little bit promiscuous, and we see this a couple of times in the film. And yeah, it doesn't seem to be going very well for them. Jane wants to go to this wellness retreat that's all based around positive thinking and yoga and changing the power of your mind. And Jamie goes along with her for this weekend, but it's clear that something dark has gone on in their history, in this family. Something's happened, and they're bringing them, that with them to this retreat, and for all of the different techniques that's going to be there, and the different workshops and neuro-linguistic programming that's going on. There's something else at play here with this mother and son turning up. Along the way, they meet other characters. There's the host of the retreat, but her daughter Sophia, who's quite sort of rebel without a cause kind of character, really doesn't get on board with all this positive thinking. She is drawn quite closely to Jamie, and the pair strike up a friendship that's very much at odds with the objective of the retreat. And what happens is we're given this time with this mother and son. We go with them on this journey, and we're constantly looking for clues as to what's happened in the past, what's gone on, because mysterious things are also happening. And I'm not going to mention them because I think that would just give too much away. Even things that happen quite early on in the film is too much of a spoiler, so I'm not going to talk too much about them. But what I loved about Retreat as an experience, in terms of cinema, is that yes, it's giving you some familiar territory. It's a horror film, and you kind of know something's going to happen, but you are really trying to unpick what's happened, because you're given two very interesting characters. It's not just one central character that you're following. I think both of the central characters here are interesting enough on their own, and you really want to know what's happened, and the dynamic between them is really, really powerful, really interesting. And there's a great chemistry between those two actors, actually. And that's what I really loved about the film. I really loved that experience of going through it. There's lots of strong points to it. The soundtrack is great. I'm always looking out for great sound design, and yeah, the soundtrack's great. They've got this kind of pop punk music that comes in. There's an acoustic song that gets used a couple of times. It's really, really good. But also the sort of non-song based stuff, the more the music soundtrack stuff, is really unhinged, and it is quite creepy and chilling, and there's lots of sinister elements to the instruments that are being used, and that enhance that atmosphere of trying to work out what's going on. It reminded me a little bit of Midsommar, which I loved. I thought that was a great movie, where you've got this kind of cult, and it's like a daytime thing. There's a lot of the scenes are daytime. It's not a ghoulish film, this one. It's not slashery. It doesn't really give you any of that. So it's not violent. It's more psychologically disturbing. You're watching it, and it's things that are happening, and the characters themselves, you don't know who you can trust. You don't know who's going to suddenly be weird. I think the film knows that its strengths are in that unknown and not giving it away too much. Some of the side characters that we meet at the retreat are a bit odd, and that I felt could have unhinged the movie a little bit and derailed it, because they were leaning a bit into that at one point. I thought, this is getting a bit too on the comical side, and leaning away from the sort of scarier stuff. But it didn't quite go full tilt. I think it actually managed to come back from that. So yeah, that's just something that I took away from it. But yeah, the sound design was great. The performances, I think, were really good. So in particular, Denise Wilton, I think she's having a great time in this movie, playing a character that's obviously been traumatized, but it was also why is she traumatized, or is she the cause of this trauma? And I think her spectrum of performance. The actor is great. She does so well in all these different scenes. There's lots of different things that she has to go through, emotionally and physically on screen. I think that was great, really well done. And the film's picking up on the themes of this parental relationship really well, and I think that's what is always good when you watch a good horror film, is that they're exploring some things that in the background are like, oh wow, that's quite well done. Like there's like generational trauma going on, there is PTSD, there is loads of things that these characters are suffering. That's why they're at this retreat. But the filmmakers are not hammering you over the head with it. They're allowing those things to just create a little bed for everything to be happening on, whilst our attention is very much given to what's going on, who's doing what, and what's going to happen next, because we want to know if our predictions are correct. It's very hard to talk about this film without spoiling it. But yeah, the film's called Retreat, and we're going to review it on the podcast, UK Film Club. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Brian makes of it, my co-host, and it's always nice to get his opinion on the movie. But in the meantime, do find out a bit more about it. I believe there might be a trailer. If there is, we'll put it on the website with the review, and you can read my written review of the movie. And it's just a really nice, there's a terrible word to use for it, really interesting UK horror movie. It's chilling, it's twisted, but not in a sense of going to being in your face with violence and gore or anything like that. And I know there's a lot of audience members out there who don't like their horrors too bloody, and this is a good example of how it can be done without that. So check it out if you can.